Thank you.
Oh wait, it says REC.
That's it. Okay, so my name is Joe Grayson, and usually I am the person behind the camera. I post some videos on YouTube. This little guy right here, that's the Thatcher man. So we're going to be talking about service dogs. I want the focus of this to not just be on how we got Saul, but also to be how we got him in the school. There we go. So this presentation is featuring the Thatcher man and Super Saul the service dog, who has completed his service dog training. You'll notice he is much larger than the other dogs. Also, he was the biggest dog in his litter. So, so we have my husband here, Donnie Grayson. He's going to be helping with Saul and Thatcher. And Thatcher has autism, epilepsy, and celiac. So, you know, we go through a lot. And we have a special guest with us tonight, Deshae Parmley, who is a very good friend of mine. She's helping with Saul as well. And then we have our wonderful group at UK. They foster and socialize the service dogs before a family like mine ever receives one. And they are phenomenal, as you can see. And I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves and their dog. And so Saul is from the Hebrew litter. So that's the reason why his name is Saul. It's from the Old Testament. The king is what that name means. And so if you would introduce yourself, tell us your dog, and tell us what litter your dog is from and how old your dog is. Saul's second birthday is on October 5th. So he's almost 2. All right.
Okay guys, my name is Brooke Mahoney. This is Harry Monster from the Elmo's birthday litter, and he is almost 8 months old.
I'm Whitney Runyon. This is Junko. She's from the Audubon litter, and she's going to be 5 months old on Wednesday.
I'm Hannah Edmonds. This is Wednesday from the Halloween litter, and she just turned 11 months old.
Hi, I'm Trish. This is Mandrake, but we call him Manny for short because it's kind of a long name. And he is 15 weeks old, and he's from the Magic Day litter. He's related to Saul, so that's a fun fact.
Yeah, he's Saul's
Nephew.
Nephew. Okay, nephew. There you go. So yeah, before we ever see the dogs, these lovely ladies are helping prepare them to come be with us. And they also have the prison programs, but once you're like, what? So they have the dogs when they're puppies after they're weaned, and sometimes when they're not weaned yet, go to the prisons, and the prisoners help do things like teach them to go potty outside. And do just the basic, you know, sit, stay, you know, that sort of thing.
They started a new prison program, actually.
They did, and it's right here in Kentucky. It is in
EKCC.
Pikeville, right?
I think so. I'm not really sure.
It's way out in eastern Kentucky. But
Manny went to, I
yeah,
don't know.
but it's super awesome that they do that, because they're not just helping people like Thatcher. They're also helping prisoners. They're helping college students get experience. And so they're helping a lot of people, and these students are helping us too. So I love it. And so yeah, so there's that. And this presentation video is going to be not great. This presentation part is not going to be that great because I didn't get to finish it, but it's okay. So the first thing I had to do was research, and I discovered that because Thatcher wanders, that it would help him have a service dog. It would help him to have his dog, and that led up to a very long and exhausting, but well worth it fundraising process. So I found a story, and I'm not going to click on this because I clicked on it previously in a previous presentation about service dogs. So, but this is just something from Autism Speaks that is basically evidence that service dogs are helpful to people with autism. So why would we choose an autism assistant service dog? Saul is trained specifically to help Thatcher. He helps Thatcher in tether, tracking, and behavior interruptions. And some of these service dogs in training will go on to do other wonderful things. They can go on to be hearing alert, diabetic alert, seizure alert, PTSD, to help with PTSD, children with mobility issues. Right now they're also working on something new, and it's training, I think they're ESAs for Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah, and most of them are Papillons.
Yeah, small. But I'm really hoping that they move forward with tracking for those individuals as well, because people with Alzheimer's sometimes forget where they are, or where, I had a great-grandmother who had Alzheimer's, and she would lock her husband out of the house because she would forget that he went to go take out the trash. So he would lock her out of the house. He started carrying a key. So yeah, these dogs will go on to do awesome things. It'll be wonderful. And if they don't, they become fabulous flunkies. That's what Paws calls them. It's great. I love it. And the dogs, when they become fabulous flunkies, they go on to be ESAs, they go on to be therapy dogs, they go on to be family pets who are quite well trained. They go on to do other things that are very needed, depending on their temperament and that sort of thing. They're placed. So Saul is trained to be tethered to Thatcher to prevent Thatcher from wandering or bolting. If you know about autism, some of our kids will wander, and I think that number is 50% of children with autism wander or bolt at some point. So they try to get away from their caretakers. And right now, they are doing a very wonderful tether. So you see Thatcher is sitting calmly. This is not something he would do if he were not tethered to his dog. So in this video right here, oops, let me back that up. Let me back that up one. It's okay, I got it. Sorry about that. In this video right here, or maybe it's a picture. Yeah, it's a picture. Sorry about that. In the picture, Thatcher is tethered to Saul, and he's walking with his dad in Target. Which is really cool because before, we could not do something like this, where Thatcher would just walk along with us. We had to pick him up as big as he is and put him in a shopping cart, or, have him ride in one of those shopping carts that's meant for kids, and, that sort of thing, so that he would not run away from us. Or we had to hold on to his hand really tight, which he hated. And we also tried the harness with a leash. That didn't work. He laid down on the floor and cried. Nothing worked for him until we got Saul. Also tracking, and this is a very, very important thing, tracking. Saul is trained to find Thatcher by scent. And what's really cool about that is, yes, you can go out and you can buy a GPS, and you can pay a monthly fee. You pay whatever it costs for the GPS device, a monthly fee. Attach that to your child so that you can potentially locate them. Except for GPS devices are only accurate to a certain degree. A dog's nose is accurate 100% of the time if they're trained well. Now we do have to practice this every now and then. We had to practice it a lot when Saul came home. But this video right here is actually doing a track.
Line, which is over here on the grass. And I'm not
And that's Donna. She was helping train us to handle Saul. Yeah, he had to potty. Sometimes when they run like that, they end up having to potty.
Imagine that, siblings doing the same thing.
Is it the inhalation giving me a
left and right. His little head went left, it went right, and I've got a little bit of pressure, so I'm going left. And he came off of it for a second, so I'm just going to hold still, let him do the circle. He wasn't quite as committed as I thought. If he goes around you, I'm just going to come around you. Don't worry.
Okay, I was like, yeah, we're about to get tripped here.
Excited?
Oh, here he
Here,
goes.
and then left and right. One more left in the other direction. And we got pressure. Move it along.
Boy, first time saw finds it here, you will cry.
Going back and
Yes.
forth.
Is this the first time?
The left.
This was our first time, yes. This was our first time.
I lost pressure.
That's why the person from Paws is holding the leash, is because she's showing us how to do it.
She's got a lot of stuff to work with. A lot of people walking.
And there were plenty of distractions, but he stayed on that scent.
Looks like a good dog.
He is. He's a very good dog.
What's going on here? Yep, yep, okay.
And he's going bopper.
So,
The first time was Pete, this one too.
Yeah, so sometimes when, it's like when you go for a long walk and then after you need to go to the bathroom.
you take care of that, we'll take it.
Sorry about my breathing here. I have asthma and I was trying to chase them. So. Because he was moving very fast. Thatcher was hiding somewhere with another adult who took him off. So, so he was not alone. He was off somewhere with an adult.
And he already knew Thatcher, that's how he knew his scent, or did you present him with something?
That's actually funny. So they train a guy named Chuck. They train the dogs to find Chuck first, okay? And then they replace, no, don't do that, no. And then they replace,
Thatcher,
no. Then they replace Chuck with our
Thatcher.
kids. Stop it.
So for like the first 2 or 3 tracks, Chuck goes with Thatcher, so that the dog's actually smelling out Chuck, and then you get rid of the Chuck
Thatcher,
smell.
please stop.
Thatcher, stop playing with it.
Okay, so I'm going to see if I can go toward the end here. Maybe not, maybe I won't.
Because
But he is about to find
the
Thatcher.
real time, you think it happens very quickly, but it's actually longer than you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, for us, this was extremely quick. We were like, wow. Thatcher, don't put your hand in. Quit. Quit it, Thatch.
As I recall, the first track was to that pine tree.
Yeah, they're hiding behind that pine tree over there.
Oh, there he goes.
And you can see he just went for it when he figured out he was that close.
One of the things that Donna told me was most dogs can pull down a person.
Yeah.
However, she said, I don't think he can pull you down. 6'3" and 290 pounds.
Yep, there they are. Now, this was in November, so it was kind of chilly. It was
It's
cold.
very windy.
Yeah, very windy.
That's what you're hearing going across the microphone now.
So what they're doing here is they're giving him fresh pet, and that is the only time Saul ever gets fresh pet is when he's completed a track. So there's a big reward at the end. And then this video right here is us doing it's Donnie doing the tracking. I'm not going to go through it, but as you can see, they train us. They show us, and they give us the leash, and they say, "Go for it."
And there's a very specific command and a very specific tone that you have to give.
The command is find your boy,
Or find your boy, or where's your boy.
or where's your
Doesn't
boy.
matter which one it is.
but you have to say it in a very unique way that gets the dog's attention, and we can't say it right now because Saul is in the room.
Yes.
And when I say it, it sounds like
Sounds like Mickey
It
Mouse
sounds
saying
Mickey
it.
Mouse has been hit in someplace very painful.
There we go. Okay, and so the other thing that Saul can do is behavior disruption. Here, they really like over and down, but right here he's doing a lap. This was right after Thatcher started having a meltdown. We were at a birthday party, there were a lot of kids, there was a lot of noise. Thatcher was not doing well with this. It was just a lot of overwhelming sensory to him. So they sat on the floor and they did this, and a few minutes later Thatcher was fine, which was really cool because that would have caused us, if we had not had Saul, that would have caused us to have to leave. So there have been several times where Saul has prevented us from having to leave a place because he's done a behavior interruption. Now, there are always commands for these, so the dog, we have to give him the command or he doesn't know what to do. Now, I will say this, if he's noticing something's wrong, he will be right up in your business trying to figure out what to do. Trying to get you to give a command because he knows his job, he knows what he's supposed to do. The way this works is after these ladies are done training their dog in the socialization area, they get to go back to Paws and do advanced training to learn these types of tasks. And the trainers at Paws do the advanced training. So they might teach them something like these things. They might even teach them to press, to open a door, press a button to open the door. That's
the basic concept of lapping over and
yeah, they work on that sort of thing.
then it progresses with that.
Right.
Because they're smarter than us.
Because the head trainer there is extremely well trained himself. So I think that's all I've got on the presentation. But I really wanted the focus to be how did we get Saul into the school? Yeah, that's where I stopped with that. And so some of the things that we did, the first thing we did was we told the school, well, we brought Saul home, of course, and no, down, come on. It's okay. So as you can see, dogs are not robots. And they make mistakes. We just have to know what to do. But anyway, we brought Saul home, and Paws advised us to do some socialization at home. Get Thatcher and Saul used to each other, get them to be okay. And so we did things like, we put Thatcher to bed, we put Saul on top of him, either before bed or while they were sleeping. Saul would get off the bed and get himself in trouble by eating something he shouldn't. So we had to start putting him in the kennel at night. But what we do is every night, before Thatcher goes to sleep, we let Saul get up on the bed for a few minutes. Let me see if I can find a picture of that. I can't, but that's okay. But yeah, we let him get up on the bed and just lay on Thatcher for a while. So I have lots and lots of pictures of Saul. This is him at a restaurant. Oh, it's not going to load. Terrible technology. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, I have lots of pictures, which you can find on Facebook as well. So we did that. We got them pretty used to each other. And then we started...
In fact, Paws basically asked that you not send the dog to school with your child until they've been together for at least 3 months.
Yes, so we waited that 3 months while we worked on socialization at home, out in the community. As much as we could get in, we worked on for 3 months. And then I started emailing the school. And we started working out a way for Thatcher to have his dog at school. And what the school agreed to was the dog could come for a few hours at the end of the day, a couple hours at the end of the day. Because they were afraid it would be a distraction to the other kids. Well, yes.
Why did you have to convince the school of anything? Aren't there regulations about
There
this?
are.
You have to, should it be, okay, you're going to do this, and this is...
Right, there are, and I basically told them, you know, the plan was for him to come to school. That's always been the plan, for him to come to school. So they said, well, let's introduce him kind of slow. And I was like, all right, that works, because I wasn't working at the time, and my only job was Thatcher. So I said, all right. So I bring this dog to school, and of course I had to train staff. I trained staff how to handle the dog. The staff are not currently trained to do the tracking part, but they're about to be.
Keep in mind that we went for, what was it, 13 consecutive days of training?
Yeah,
From 8 a.m.
12,
13.
13, something
From
like
8
that.
a.m.
It's
to
2
5
weeks.
p.m. every day, and then on the third day, we got to take Saul back to the hotel room with us.
Yeah,
And then her training of the staff was 1 hour.
yeah, it was only 1 hour, so occasionally I have to like tell them, you know, this is how you need to do a thing. I provided them with everything that we had for our training, but I would take them to the school, and I would pass them off to the school for a couple of hours, and I would sit outside of the school building and wait, just to make sure nothing went wrong, you know. And then not only did it work, they started asking him for longer periods of time. They say, can you bring the dog an hour earlier? Can you bring the dog 2 hours earlier? Until finally, right, until finally we had the dog there the full day, because they noticed a huge difference in Thatcher with his dog versus without his dog.
Wow.
Just pull that down and say down.
Saul. Down.
Okay, so this is Chelsea's first time handling the leash. So, I'm sorry, Deshay. It's her first time handling the leash. So, as you can see, it's not that easy. It's not that easy for even somebody who handles that leash every day. But it's so worth it for Thatcher to do it. So anyway, so we got him into the school, and when I did the training was a lot of fun, and they actually did let me do 2 hours the first time. I don't think Donnie knew that. This last time they only let me do 1. So I guess they figured. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's your protocol for taking the dog into the school? Do you all walk together, the 3 of you, and then you say goodbye and then leave the classroom, or you go to a school?
No, I pass the dog off to a para who comes out and gets Thatcher.
Okay.
And that para-educator is trained how to handle Saul.
So
There
out
are,
in front of the school?
yes, but at Tage Creek they go in the back door.
Okay.
So yes, but yeah, the idea is the same. And there are 3 para-educators trained and a special education teacher trained. The principal will soon be trained, and a couple of vice principals will be trained. So we have...
And just recently, they've agreed, Fayette County has agreed to allow the tracking training to actually occur. But the big roadblock to that was going to be paying the paras and the teachers and whomever outside of normal school hours.
But we're working that out with them, so that's not going to be an issue. So this is something that I made for the school to introduce the dog to the students.
They made an announcement at the school telling the students.
Yeah, they
that
made
there
an
was gonna be-
announcement telling the students you cannot pet the dog. But I went through the process of basically making this presentation that would allow the staff to go through and say, look, this is a service dog, this is what he does, this is what he's here for, no, you can't pet him. And, this picture was actually taken at Paws during our training. And so, one of the things that we wanted to let the kids know was Saul does get time to be a regular dog. He absolutely gets playtime, but it's at home when there's no risk of Thatcher just leaving. And at school when he has to go potty, we've advised the staff, wait till Thatcher's in a safe place and there's nothing really going on, and then take him to go. And whatever time of the day that is, he'll work with their schedule. And so I also had this, I described what Saul is wearing, which I don't know if y'all can see this, but I'll go ahead and take the leash. So Saul is wearing some really cool gear here. Sit. He's wearing a gentle leader. This is not a muzzle. It does not prevent him from opening his mouth or anything like that. I like it a lot better than the choke chain, which our little friend over here is wearing.
It's called a martingale collar.
Oh, okay.
We don't use the whole chain. They only use the whole chain in advanced training.
Oh,
We
okay.
just use this for collar corrections like this. It's
Right.
just the sound so that when they get the full chain that they're used to it and they're like, oh, I have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, so we like this a lot better, and it works really well for Saul, even though he's kind of scratching it a little bit. Then he's also wearing a regular collar. That's where all of his tags are. He's wearing this little thing, which is just a tab. It's like a little collar if he's off the leash, but he's still wearing his gear. We can give him a little quick correction. He's wearing a vest, service dog vest, and under his vest, he's wearing one of the most important pieces of gear.
That's a tracking harness.
Yeah, it is a tracking harness. It's also for tethering. This is what he goes to school in typically, because he gets hot. And that's where we connect the tether that Thatcher is wearing.
And when we do a track, the line is attached to the back of the harness so that it goes around and it puts pressure on his chest, but nothing is on his face, neck, throat, etc.
Right, it's much, much safer for him to wear that. He also gets seat belted into the car that way. So he wears his own little seat belt too. We definitely want to keep him safe. What just happened here? Something happened with his leash. Come here. Oh, there we go. We got stuck over here. Sometimes silly stuff happens like this, which is fine. You know, that's just part of life, right?
Oh, look, you fixed it.
Sit. Okay, you gotta come back over here, please. It's okay, I'll fix it. Sit. Thank you. So yeah, who was saying about the price? Oh, you were?
I tried with, like, I think it was Paws with the cause or something like that. I had contacted, like, a lot of places that had popped up. And I finally had one that I filled out all the information for, and then they told me that I could do fundraising, and then I saw, like, them say that the prices range between $17,000 to $19,000. And after I saw that, I said, that's college money, so I'll tough it out for now.
Actually, you know what? I will tell you this. We did that. That's probably the same organization. Now, when I started fundraising, our agreement was $14,000. We raised $15,000. And we absolutely did that. And it was so worth it. It took 3 years to do the fundraising, but it is worth it. Some people do that fundraising in 6 months.
We would not have even done the fundraising in 3 months. In 3 years, had it not been for the fact that on December 27, 2015, what was that?
An anonymous donor donated.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
On December 27, 2015, we were featured on a WKYT news report, and at that time we had only raised $600.
Yeah.
By the next June, we were at our goal.
Yeah, so there are ways, there's a whole family support group. I absolutely love it. They're there for their people. And you go on there and you say, I'm having so much trouble fundraising, I have no idea what to do. And at least 10 people will say, well, this is what we did, you should contact this person.
When we went,
Like, they'll give you ideas too. And like, there's a lady who, she actually has a service dog in Louisville, and she has this bandana company that like we all buy bandanas from, and they donate $1 from every single bandana or product bought to a kid fundraising for their service dog. And there's probably like a bunch more people who do stuff like that.
There's also Bravelets, and the person who does Bravelets does the same sort of thing. It's all fundraising for the dogs. It goes directly to one of the people who's fundraising, that process. And the last time I spoke about service dogs, which that's up on Facebook, I talked about what fundraisers we did. We did 31 handbags, Jamberry nails, Discovery Toys, Tupperware. I sold candy bars. I came and aggravated ASBG about buying candy bars every time I was here.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of fundraising, and then at the very end, we had an anonymous donor who donated $9,000, which got us to our goal. Now, I personally know who that person is, but they wanted to remain anonymous.
Another family told me the story of where another person who wanted to remain anonymous had donated $12,000 of their last bit to get them to the total.
Right. So you might have some anonymous donor who just steps up and says, hey, I have the funds for this. None of that money comes out of your pocket unless you're like me and you spent money on some of your fundraisers. We did booster t-shirts too. So for travel expenses, I designed a shirt, and for our expenses to get Saul, I did one of the students from the UK program. Her name's Heidi Volrath. She designed a shirt for us and helped us set up a booster, t-shirt booster, and lots of those shirts sold because her design was awesome.
In addition to having to raise the money for the donation, if you're going to your training for 2 weeks and you're paying for 3 people or more to eat, we had to have $5,000 just in travel costs alone.
Now, we did not use all of that money for our travel expenses. Some of that money was used to get Saul items that we felt like we wanted him to have or he needed. Like, they showed us all kinds of different things to carry his treats in, and Shay's got one right there. That's what we ended up choosing. We have used that thing to death. But we
realized that we also had to get the largest kennel that like PetSmart sells.
Yeah, so some of that money went directly to the dog. So now Paws does provide some things. They provide the leash, they provide the tracking harness, they provide a flexi leash, which I can show you that. It's in this backpack over here. This is Saul's backpack. It goes everywhere he goes. So one of the things that Paws provided us with is this, and this is specifically for tracking. It is a very long, flexible leash. And this can go all the way over to him.
You had to buy the gloves, because that
Yeah,
will
you need
come out
gloves for
so
it.
quickly that you have to have leather on your hand,
Wow.
or it will take the skin clean off.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so we have special gloves for
And we actually
tracking.
did that to one of the people in the group. She bought the Rowan County gloves and it went right
Yeah.
through it.
Oh, ouch.
So we have those, we keep those in there. This backpack goes over where Saul goes. Saul and Thatcher are typically not ever separated unless, you know, I have to take Saul to the groomer and Thatcher can stay home. But usually they're not even separated then.
If you try to take Thatcher somewhere without Saul, Saul's like, where's he going? I gotta go with my boy.
Yeah, if they're separated, they both have an issue with that. They're both like, what are you doing? So yeah, they do provide some of the items that we get. They gave us a gift of a bandana and a bow tie, which was really cute. They gave that to us on graduation day. There are shirts, class shirts, and you purchase those. But that was one of our expenses that we didn't know we were gonna have till we got there. But we fundraised for all of that too. And we did it. And it was not easy, but we did it. And I'm one of those people who will tell you right now, if you feel like you can't do the fundraising, come to me. I will absolutely point you in the right